Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Mayhem live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Golden MF Michael Fletcher with Anthony Florio. We are awaiting Michael Bullock. If he's here, then great. If he's not, then we'll probably see him tomorrow night for a very special edition of NFL Thursday Night. So, with that said, we're just about ready to go here. So, here we go. Started off with NXT as per the usual. It was actually a 2-for-1 deal. We'll jump it off here tonight as it was. We had Hit Row cutting a promo. Then after that, it led us to the women's no DQ matchup as it was Fab B representing Hit Row versus Elektra Lopez representing Legado del Fantasma, and when it was all said and done, Elektra Lopez gets the win. 6 minutes, 45 seconds. Okay. As far as a DQ fight, this was a little underwhelming. I'm not going to say that it was the greatest thing ever. It was a little short, which is a little disappointing, but, okay, I'll give a spade on this one. It was all right for what it was worth, but I really thought it could have been a lot better. Even though the Hit Row promo was kind of all over the place too, I thought they were going to be a little more polished. I thought they were going to be a lot more stronger and everything else. It kind of felt a little lackluster there. The match was okay, not great. I could give this maybe 2.25 stars. I mean, that's just me being generous here. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
These kind of matches can be expected of These kind of matches can be expected of NXT 2.0. The brand is built on the idea of building stars from the ground up. Elektra Lopez and B-Fab are charismatic talents, but also noticeably green in the ring. However, this match was messy and only really took off once the competitors grabbed the weapons. It allowed them to focus on telling a story rather than technically wrestling. The finish was especially well done and ensured this match left a solid mark. Elektra Lopez has potential to compete more regularly than B-Fab, who is still learning the ropes. It made sense for her to get the win so she can build toward a fresh challenger. So 2 stars is my rating for this as well. I 100% agree. No comment on the promo. Move on.
All right. Now the next up we had was Exxon Quinn versus Ion Quinn versus Oni Lorcan. Ion Quinn with a humongous victory, winning the match in 3 minutes and 1 second. Maybe a short time for this was not a delicious squash, Anthony. This was what a moment for Quinn. He just took down a former NXT Tag Champion.
It's the biggest win of his career, and this is and a win like this could only build toward bigger wins down the road. So I 100% agree. No rating for the match, but this is not the first time that Quinn has actually done this. He actually already has a victory over Oni Lorcan, and it was on 205 Live. It was a foregone conclusion, as Lorcan will continue to be overlooked in NXT 2.0. He's probably going to be, used to get these younger guys over, and he did just that here. So, no rating for a match, but the biggest win of Zion Quinn's career to date, and it could lead to even bigger wins down the road.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That was an excellent match. It wasn't really an excellent match. It was a nice showcase for him. For Exxon Quinn, it definitely needed it to be something good. And remember, NXT is starting to feel more like a developmental. It's starting to feel like a minor league. This is not the typical NXT that we were talking about a year ago or a couple of months ago. This is a different NXT. This NXT has a feel of when it was like FCW or OVW, if you remember those days. This is kind of them going back to the minor league system. And as a matter of fact, you really want to hear this, because there is talk that a lot of the NXT regulars could get called up on draft night. So that basically tells you everything you need to know about what could happen in this upcoming draft. So next up we had was Io Shirai and Zoe Stark putting the NXT Women's Tag Team titles on the line against Toxic Attraction, Gigi Dolan, and JC Jane. When it was all said and done, I don't have a time of the fall. I don't know why. But the winners of the bout, and still the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, the Genius in the Sky, Io Shirai and Zoe Stark. Excellent match. This was fight of the night level stuff. Look, we can say whatever we want to say about Zoe and Io not getting along, that, it might be the East and West thing, that they just, the culture, the language, whatever. When these two are on, they're the best thing in the women's division in NXT. This is a tremendous moment for these two ladies, and give credit to a Toxic Attraction as well. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with in NXT, definitely down the line. But last night, this was meant for the tag team champions to shine, and they shined brighter than anything they have done. Now, there's been a lot of speculation about a breakup or something like that. Well, guess what? That is exaggerated, and almost, you could say, I'll steal the line from Anthony Florio. That's a bunch of Mookie stinks, because right now they're the best thing on NXT, especially in the women's division. You cannot lose these two girls. These are two of the best. Now, Toxic Attraction will be a legit threat. They are a problem, and they will be a problem down the line. But right now, it's probably too soon for them to get the tag titles. But what a performance. What a jump for the tag team champions. For me, this was definitely within the fight of the night range. 3 stars for me. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
You underscored it, MF. This was a 3.5-star match for me. This was a solid showing from both teams. Io Shirai and Zoe Stark are rock-solid performers in the ring, and they helped elevate Gigi Dolan and JC Jane. However, it never quite felt like Toxic Attraction had the win in hand, despite a build that sold the idea of an upset before the match. While NXT has gone big with wins away from the gold, the title holders have remained strong. Every champ has held the gold right through the NXT 2.0 reboot. It'll be interesting to see who is set up to dethrone any of the veteran champions. 3.5 stars for me, and I'll pull the trigger. This was the fight of the night for me. So, but this is not the last time you're going to hear us refer to Toxic Attraction, because they made their mark in a huge way at the end of this show tonight. Little spoiler alert. So, not much more to say. 3.5 stars for me. Fight of the night, no doubt about it. So, MF, let's get to our next moment here, and I'll start it.
Nope. I'm not going to do Boa versus Andre Chase.
Oh,
nope.
No. Absolutely not.
That's a pass.
Yep. Good.
Let's see. All right. Roderick Strong versus Grayson Waller. Cruiserweight Championship on the line. Winner of the bout. And still the Cruiserweight Champion of the world, Roderick Strong. Unfortunately, again, they didn't give me a time of the fall.
I'm on it.
Morons. Florio is yours.
By the way, that women's tag team title match got 12 minutes and 46 seconds. So that's what I found out for that one. And as far as this match is concerned, I think it got right around the same amount, if I'm not mistaken here. So let me find my notes that I'm running off of, and I'll get you a time of the fall. roughly 6 minutes and 18 seconds. And I'll tell you what, this was a 3-star match. Fun little sprint, one of Strong's better matches in recent weeks. The give and take made Waller look strong without ever making the Messiah of the backbreaker look vulnerable. Instead, the challenger just seemingly motivated the champion to keep stepping up. Ultimately, both men came out looking solid in a short contest that used its minutes well. If this is the future of the cruiserweight division, Roderick Strong making young guys look like solid foundational players, it'll be fun to watch for a while yet. So, fun little sprint, solid 3 stars, 6 minutes, 18 seconds. MF, your thoughts?
You know what, Anthony, unmute your mic for a second.
Sure.
Do you have the feeling that this NXT Cruiserweight is starting to feel like the Cruiserweight division back in SmackDown days? Like, we're talking Attitude Era SmackDown.
A little bit.
Like, is it starting to go that direction? Are you starting to get that feel like it?
I didn't really think about it, but it just might be. I don't know. I really don't know right now.
Because
get back to me sooner.
Because honestly, if it gets to that level, and this was a great match. This was you're absolutely right. 3-star fun little sprint. But that's the thing I'm thinking of. Because everybody remembers the SmackDown Cruiserweight division during that era. When you had Rey Mysterio, Juventud Guerrera, Psychosis. You had Chavo Guerrero at the time, who was one of the longest reigning champions. You had Gregory Helms, who I believe, in my opinion, was the greatest cruiserweight champion during that era of WWE. So I kind of feel like we're starting to get that. It's starting to get that kind of feel again. Now, if Roderick Strong is the flag bearer of this division, it's perfect. He's the perfect guy to be running the division because, don't get me wrong, I love Kushida, and Kushida had a nice run. But if Roddy is going to be the guy to run this division and keep doing what he's doing, like you say, elevate the younger guys to be better, this could end up being, this has the makings, and I'm going to say it, this has possible makings of this being the SmackDown version of the Cruiserweight division from about 10 years ago or 15 years ago. If you get to that level, the Cruiserweight division is going to be thriving again. 205 Live is going to be really, really, really good. Good television. I hope it is. I'm just saying. I'm leaving the door open there. So, with that said, next up we had, after a whole bunch of other stuff, Kyle O'Reilly versus Ridge Holland. Kyle O'Reilly wins the match in 5 minutes and 18 seconds. Solid match. Or actually, no, wait. This goes to Anthony Florio. So,
that's right.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. My bad. Florio, okay. It's yours.
That's all right. You're excited. I don't blame you. I am too, especially with the events of tonight in the world of professional wrestling, which we'll get to at the end. But this was perfectly decent, but it did not have time to do much more. Kyle O'Reilly gave a lot to Ridge Holland and then got the win with a fluke roll-up. Yeah, where have we seen that before, Monday Night Raw? But as always, it feels like Holland is on the precipice of a breakout run, but it is not immediately on the horizon. Von Wagner and Kyle O'Reilly are an odd combination. While this team will match well with Pete Dunne and Ridge Holland, it is harder to say where it will go from there. In the old NXT, Kyle O'Reilly would be a future title contender. In NXT 2.0, that may be Von Wagner instead, even though we all agree that the real number one contender as of right now is Braun Breaker. But, we'll wait and see down the line. 2.5, 2 3/4 of a star for this, so not much more to say. Now MF, it's yours.
Yeah, 2.5. 2.5. I'll give it a solid 2.5. I thought it was all right. I mean, it could have been a lot more better, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. There's really nothing more to add. We do lead on to the main event of the evening, and yes, guys, it was the NXT Women's Championship of the World on the line. The champion, Raquel Gonzalez, versus the challenger, Frankie Monet, the winner of the bout. 6 minutes, 59 seconds, a hair under 7 minutes, and still the NXT Women's Champion of the World, Raquel Gonzalez. Solid main event. I could say another 3 stars, maybe 3.5. Solid main event. Good match. Both ladies brought it. But, of course, at the end, Toxic Attraction came out, literally destroyed the Frank Stone brand, which in one way we were happy to see, but then they, like a pack of dogs, they jump and take out the NXT Women's Champion, Raquel Gonzalez, and the last image of this show was Mandy Rose with the NXT Women's title in her possession. A little foreshadowing, are we, folks? Well, we'll see. Anthony Florio, the brunette hair beauty, holding the NXT Women's title at the end of the night. Mandy Rose's eyes is glistening some gold. Could God's greatest creation be thinking NXT Women's Gold now?
God's greatest creation besides me, of course. But anyways.
Besides you. Are you kidding me? How embarrassing, man.
I had to do it. Hey, you gave me the ammo for it. But anyways, all right, all kidding aside, I got to be honest here. This title match was a disappointment. The two women did not connect well in the ring throughout. Monet mostly had to spend the match stomping on Gonzalez rather than throwing out a variety of moves in her arsenal. These two have much better in them for the future, but it seems the time has passed for Monet after Mandy Rose stepped up as the next challenger. God's greatest creation, once again besides me, is a solid wrestler, but far from the one who should be next in line for the gold. In such a stacked division, it would make more sense for NXT to rebuild Rose first. But I think this is just to delay the dream match we all want to see, Raquel Gonzalez versus the scary Queen of Scots, Kaylee Ray, for a bigger stage like the next takeover, whenever that is. We have no clue when that is at this time, but we'll have to wait and see. But MF, it looks like Mandy Rose is probably going to get the next shot at this. I think Raquel will get by her, and then we'll get that dream match that we all want to see, Raquel Gonzalez and the scary Queen of Scots. I mean, and that's going to be, whoa, boy, that's going to be hella fun. So not much more to say for this. I can only give this about 2.5 stars for the effort. So not much more to say. MF, what are your thoughts on all that?
I agree with that. I think it is a solid 2.5. I think it could have been a lot more better. It was a little bit of a disappointment, to say the very least. The one thing I've been hearing is that Frankie Monet might be heading up to the main roster. There's a lot of rumors going around about her maybe joining her husband, John Morrison, and that they could end up on either Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. Like we've been hearing, there could be some involvement from NXT in the upcoming draft that goes down on Friday. So we don't know how this is going to look. We don't know what we're expecting here. But there definitely is that talk about maybe something big happening. So I don't know. We'll wait and see. Overall review for NXT, Anthony. I guess I lead off on this one. Look, I gotta call it a 50-50 show. I don't think there was anything that was amazing about it. I'll openly admit that this was a little bit of a step back, and I'm a little disappointed. I'm starting to get a little concerned with NXT now. This is not the NXT from the past. This is not the great NXT that we're looking at. And I feel like there's a disconnect. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that they want to try to build the younger talent, trying to make this a developmental and everything else, but you're watering it down to a point that it's becoming the third best show on the roster. Like, NXT was the pinnacle. It was better than Raw, better than SmackDown. All of a sudden, NXT is nowhere close. Not to where it was. Now, I'm disappointed. 5 out of 10. I hate to do it, but I have to pull the trigger. Anthony, it's yours.
As good as some of the things were on this show, MF, there were times during the show where I was actually, I hate to say this, uninterested, and I couldn't even bother with it. And thankfully, Michael Bullock's not here because I'm about to get away with murder with what I'm about to say. Last night's show was so bad, I couldn't wait for it to be over. That's how much I, the way NXT was booked before was fine. Everything was fine. There was nothing wrong with it whatsoever. But of course, Mr. McDinkleberg and his bucktooth beaver buddy, and of course, Blubber Love had something to say about this, obviously. Unfortunately, it's their show now. I highly doubt Triple H has any influence on this anymore, especially with his recent scare. But yeah, this was definitely no. It's not a Mr. McDinkleberg who's booking this. You know who's booking this lately, MF? Mr. McMagma. That's who's booking this. That's how bad it is. Mr. McMagma's the one who's really booking this show. No doubt about it. 5 out of... No. I'm actually going to go lower than this. I'm going to channel my inner Bret Hart not impressed. 4 out of 10 for this show. I mean, I know you want to build new stars, but do we have to do it by way of pointless and unnecessary squash matches? The other matches, we had a few good matches here and there, but too many negatives, and they outweigh the positives, I'm sorry to say. So, like I said, I couldn't wait for it to be over. You've heard of the old expression, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Obviously, Mr. McMagma felt that this show needed a fixing. Dude, really? Why can't we go back to the way it was before? That's all there is to say on that. All right, the BS portion of this is over. The preliminary is over now, MF. Now let's get to the main event.
All right, it's time for AEW. We started it off with Jungle Boy going one-on-one with Adam Cole. Adam Cole wins the match in 13 minutes and 57 seconds. Amazing opening match. Great fight. 3.5 to 3 3/4. You could even say 4 if you want to. I'll give you that. But I'm about to upset a lot of people. And this is no slight at Adam Cole. This is no slight at AEW. Jungle Boy is one of your best, hardest working guys in wrestling today. He's won over 50 matches already in his career. He's considered to many as maybe a contender for the AEW World title. Yet, you fed him to Adam Cole and you let Cole get the win? A former WWE star. I thought you said that that you weren't worried about WWE, that you were gonna give younger talent, younger guys opportunities. Yet, Jungle Boy, who's been in the company since day one of the best, and you let Cole win the match? This is a little nitpick by booking. This is nitpick by booking and everything else. And I'm starting to see a lot of a trend that I'm not liking with AEW. Nitpick aside, this match was awesome. It was amazing. Anthony, it's yours.
All right. I'm going to bring some positivity back into this. To me, this was the fight of the night. I'm going to give this 3 3/4 to 4 stars. On paper, Adam Cole versus Jungle Boy sounded awesome, and the match did not disappoint. An action-packed, dramatic battle between one of the top stars in the company and one of its hottest young competitors. It kept the fans invested and left them wondering if the underdog would pull off the improbable upset. He did not, but Adam Cole's cheap low blow proved Jungle Boy not only hung with him, but had him on the ropes to such an extent that he had to resort to an underhanded tactic to secure the win. It protected Jungle Boy's credibility and gave Cole another quality win in his young AEW career. You cannot ask for more than that in an energetic bout right out of the gate. So, and yeah, Meth, I'm right there with you. I mean, to me, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus should be the AEW World Tag Team Champions right now. That's how I feel. I mean, no disrespect to the Luchas. I mean, they deserved the moment. They really did. But it should have been Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. But I believe one day those two men will be champions someday. I don't know when, but I think someday they will. But for right now, I know MF is very frustrated about Jungle Boy's booking and the whole 9 yards, but I believe MF, he's going to be fine. I believe he's going to be fine. There is no doubt about it. He's got so much life ahead of him. He's a very young man. He's about 24, 25 years old. He's got plenty of life ahead of him. Don't worry. His time's going to come. I know you want it to be right away, but it's their timing, not ours. If it was our timing, he would have been the world champion right about now. But no. He'll get there someday, MF. But for right now, just trust these. I know you have a love-hate relationship right now. I know it's a trust issue, but relax. He's going to be fine. Trust me. So there's not much more to say. Fight of the night, 3 3/4, 4 stars. Great way to start off what was an emotional night because this was in Rochester, New York, and it was honoring the memory of the late, great Mr. Brody Lee. So let's try to focus more on that, MF.
Absolutely. No. Well, look, the thing is, I'm also going to openly criticize AEW if it needs to be criticized. And this is something that's been an underlining thing. And it's not just me who's open firing at him. One guy, Grim, on YouTube, Grim Toy Show, he openly fired at AEW because of this as well. And there's a few people from that are not AEW marks, and that's the thing. We're not the ones that bow down and kisses the feet of everything AEW does. We're not like Derek Ferrera. We're not like DJ from DJ from NY.
JD from NY, yes.
JD from NY. We're not Dave Meltzer. So yeah.
No, we're gonna come at you.
Huh?
We're gonna come at you.
Yeah,
if there's a time where we want to criticize you, we're gonna punch you in the mouth.
We're gonna criticize you. So that's why. Afraid. And that's why. And this is just and the thing is, I'm not. And the thing is, like I said, I'm not trying to take shots at AEW for the way that they handle their matches. No, but their booking needs to be called into question sometimes. But we'll get into this. We'll get into this. Next up we had was Lee Johnson and Cody Rhodes. They went up against Matt Sydal and Dante Martin. And Lee Johnson and Cody Rhodes won the match in 7 minutes and 48 seconds. Anthony, it's yours.
2.5 to 2 3/4. It is time for Cody Rhodes to turn heel. It has been teased at points over the last 2 years, but it never quite happened for one reason or another. Instead, he comes back as a babyface. Lately, it has been to diminishing results as evidenced by the boos that greeted him here. The match was another shining example of Dante Martin's star quality and proof that Lee Johnson has a bright star of his own. The post-match promo from Arn Anderson was designed as a wake-up call to Cody Rhodes, and the severing of their relationship. But if the intent is for him to be a renewed, refreshed, and rejuvenated babyface by the end of it all, it will prove to be ineffective. Rhodes needs to evolve, or AEW will pass him by. It's in danger of doing so right now. So that's all there is for me to say on this. Solid match, though. 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star. I want to add some positive elements to this. MF, that Dante Martin kid. That kid is going to be a big star 5-10 years from now. Trust me on that.
He is. No, he is. And so is Lee Johnson. That's one thing for sure. For Arn Anderson, man, bro, that was impassionate.
Awesome.
I mean, that was powerful, man.
I held up the 4 fingers during that. It was awesome.
Dude, you could gladly throw up the 4 fingers because I'll throw it right there with you. That is horseman style, man. That's a horseman takedown is what we just saw. That was very proud, very honorable. No doubt about it, man. That's the enforcer. That's the guy we knew and loved. That's where I come in. That's where I was with the crew that we were riding with back in the day. That was right up my alley. I probably would have done the same thing. So, without a doubt, that was power. No doubt about it in my mind. And look, you're absolutely right. Cody Rhodes, and the reason why fans are flipping on Cody is because they felt like he's going Hollywood. He's a reality star now. He's doing all these other things. His heart is not in the wrestling business anymore. He's going with other ventures. He's got a wife, now a baby. It's starting to feel like Cody's getting away from the spotlight. He's done this show outside. He's been doing television, and now he's got the reality show. He's going Hollywood. He's being he's out there now, and a lot of the AEW fan base is like, you're alienating us. Boo this man. And gladly enough, I will gladly boo along with these people because he deserves it. So no, without a doubt. At the end of the day, you were absolutely right. There was really nothing more to add. I mean, this was as solid of a match it was. So with that said, let's just move right on along. Next up we had was a 6-man tag team match, as it was Darby Allin, Jon Moxley, and Eddie Kingston versus Anthony Green and Bear Country. When it was all said and done, Mox, Kingston, and Darby wins it in 3 minutes and 1 second. This was short. Oh my God, this was disappointing. I really thought the match was going to be a lot more better than this. It was a little bit of all over the place, to be honest. But you know what? It was solid for what it was worth. It was good. It was okay, I guess. I'm not gonna go any more better than this. But yeah. So nothing more to say, Anthony. This is about maybe a 2-star match. Unfortunately, I gotta call it the worst fight of the night.
Agree to disagree. I agree with you on worst fight of the night. 2 stars. That's generous. That is generous. No, nah, honey. No. I have every right to call this a dud if I wanted to, or maybe even give it 1. But it's dud to 1.
Okay.
But I agree with you. It is the worst fight of the night. I give you that. But 2 stars? No, that was not even close to a 2-star match. Maybe not even a 1, but because there was entirely too much talent involved for this match to amount to the nothingness that it did. The work was there, but this meant nothing to any ongoing storylines, nor did it enhance any of the talent involved. It was a match for match's sake, and while that's not always a bad thing, it was all too apparent. And I'm gonna open fire one more time. Can we please find something of note for Jon Moxley to do? Because the guy who shifted the paradigm sure feels like he is being left behind in the wake of newer signings. So ever since he lost the AEW World Championship to Kenny Omega, aside from a couple good matches here and there, a few good matches here and there, he hasn't really done anything, overly exciting. I mean, the only exciting things he's done was, that lights out match, that death match with Omega, even with that dud ending. Him and Eddie Kingston, they're fun to watch as a tag team. They had that great tag title match with the Young Bucks at a Double or Nothing. And the series of matches with Minoru Suzuki, I mean, those were fun as hell, but we need to find something to note for him to do. And this coming from, the biggest Moxley mark out of all of us. So please find something to note for my boy to do. That's all I can say on that, because that's the guy who fires me up all the time. So, but other than that little shot, yeah. To sum it all up, MF, long story short, this is a match that really should have been on Dark Elevation, not Dynamite. Sorry, move on.
Then we had, Orange Cassidy and the Dark Order, now members of the Dark Order. It was Orange Cassidy, Alan Five Angels, Preston Vance, number 10, Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, Colt Cabana, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds. They all went up against Matt Hardy, Mark Quinn, Isaiah Cassidy, Jack Evans, Atletico, Butcher, Blade, and Jorah Joel. When it was all said and done, the winners of the bout in 8 minutes and 38 seconds was Orange Cassidy and the Dark Order. Anthony, it looked like we were going to see a major implosion until finally we all realized where we were, and finally they woke up, and the Dark Order, at least for now, seems like everything is simpatico again.
With all due respect, MF, can we waive the rating for this? Because this was more of a tribute match more than anything else.
All right, I'll waive it. I'll gladly waive it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know we should give a rating for this. I mean, if I were to give a rating, I probably would give it about 2.5 to 3 for that. But this was a tribute to the late Mr. Brody Lee, and was never meant to be anything but. Sure, it continued the story of dissension within the Dark Order and served as hype for Orange Cassidy's hair versus hair match with Jack Evans this Friday on Rampage, but it was exactly what it needed to be. Brody Jr. and Amanda Huber, Mr. Brody Lee's wife, coming to the ramp to talk sense in the Evil Uno, John Silver and company was excellent, and the post-match celebration was the heartwarming stuff that occurs when wrestling is at its best. Kudos to all involved for this, particularly John Silver, whose energy elevates everything he is involved in. So this was more of a tribute match than anything else. So if I were to give it a rating, I would say 2.5 to 3. But for this match, MF, because this was more of a tribute match than anything else, I believe we should have no rating for this.
All right, agreed. And I'm not gonna argue with that decision. And yeah, this did feel like more of a tribute than anything else. Yeah, this was, like you said, it could have gone a number of different ways, but it did, and that's how it went down. And really nothing more to add. I mean, it was a beautiful tribute. It was amazing. And it needed to be exactly what it needed to be. At least now the Dark Order seems like everything is on the same page. So, but I'm just glad that they brought Amanda and, of course, -1 Brody Lee Jr. The minute he saw that, I knew he was like, "Come on, guys, what are you doing? My dad. Remember him. Remember where you guys were and where you are." And that was it. There was really nothing more to say. The minute those two came out, and you felt it in the room, you felt it in the arena. It took a life of its own. There's nothing more to say. This was powerful, man. Powerful stuff. So next up we had was Anna Jay and Ty Conte against the Bunny and Penelope Ford. Ty Conte and Anna Jay wins the match, 6 minutes and 11 seconds. Again, you could say this was also kind of a tribute match in a way for Mr. Brody Lee, because these were the girls of the Dark Order, and they get a big win. So I'm gonna once again waive the rating rule on this one as well. And after the match, -1 showed up to celebrate with his best friend, with his bestie, Ty. And yeah, Ty and Brody have become very, very close. Even after everything that happened about a year ago, you saw them together and everything else in the whole 9 yards. And Anthony, I'll give it to you, and then we'll bring in Michael Bullock.
Oh, Bullock's coming in. Okay. All right. Yeah. But I was going to have some fun with this, but after what you just said about it, I'm going to hold off on it. I was going to say, this was a Tony special because.
Go ahead. Go. It definitely was a Tony special. There's no doubt about it. This is right up your wheelhouse. Come on.
Because all 4 of these girls are 4 of my personal favorites, and let's just if I have, as long as I have the okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hard eye emoji times 4. That's all there is to say on that, because I have, I got a thing for all 4 of these beautiful baby girls. I mean, and especially Allie, because I've known Allie the longest, because of her Impact days, where I loved her cute and quirky character down there. But she's not that cutie patootie that she was down there. Oh no, that Allie's long gone. But anyways, all kidding aside, I mean, Bunny, Penelope, Anna, and Ty. I mean, 4 gorgeous, beautiful, sexy women. And oh yeah, like I said, hard eye emoji times 4. Beautiful, beautiful women. And Tony special, my 4 personal favorites. And oh yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. But all kidding aside, Tay J settled a weeks-long feud with Bunny and Ford in a definitive fashion, and in the process built momentum for themselves. Conti continues to work hard to better herself, while Anna Jay shows flashes of a young star who I believe, just like Dante Martin will in the men's division, she will one day be the face of women's wrestling in AEW, because she's only like 22 or 23 years old. And she's got a very bright future ahead of her too, just like her boyfriend, Jungle Boy. But this was a fun, energetic match, if nothing else. Considering the wealth of women's talent in AEW and the limited number of spots in the title picture, it's becoming more and more apparent that a secondary title or a set of women's tag titles is appropriate, because the dirt sheet that came out recently saying AEW is planning on a secondary women's title. Maybe it could be a women's tag team title. Very, very possible. Or a women's TNT title. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that. But whatever it is, I hope we get a big payoff for it. So that's all I'm hoping for. So really not much more to say. If I were to give a rating for this, I would probably give it about 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star. But there is no rating for this because, like MF said, he considered it a tribute match to Brody Lee. I didn't really think of it that way, but the other match I think was more of it, more so. But all right, yeah, I could give you that because Brody Jr. came in at the end, so yeah, I could give you that. So we'll waive the no rating for that one. So Bullock, when we get to those 2 matches, the 16-man tag and this women's tag match, don't give a rating because these were Brody tribute matches, just to let you know. So with that being said, MF, catch this brother up.
All right, you got a lot of catching up, Bullock. I mean, we'll start you off with NXT. We'll go rapid fire here. We started off with Fab B and Elektra Lopez. Elektra Lopez wins the match in 6 minutes and 55 seconds.
All right, I'll give this about maybe 2.5. I thought it was a fine match for what it was, but yeah, nice win for Elektra Lopez in her early days of NXT 2.0.
Exxon Quinn versus Oni Lorcan. Exxon Quinn wins the match in 3 minutes.
1 star for the effort, so that's all I can give it.
All right. Io Shirai and Zoe Stark versus Toxic Attraction. Io Shirai and Zoe Stark wins the tag team titles. I don't have a time, but I believe Anthony said it was about 12 minutes.
12:46.
12:46.
All right, this was a good match here. I'll give it about maybe 3.25 stars here. I mean, I thought this was a good match here. I mean, part of me was thinking maybe Gigi Dolan and JC Jane were gonna win because of how serious they're taking Toxic Attraction, but obviously they wanted to keep the titles on Io Shirai and Zoe Stark. So yeah, there's really nothing more for me to say.
Yeah. So next up we had let's see. Okay, Boa versus Andre Chase. We tossed that out to the side. We said no. Roderick Strong versus Grayson Waller. Roderick Strong wins the match. I believe, Anthony, you said 6 minutes and 57 seconds, somewhere in that range.
That's correct.
No, 6:57.
I'll give this about another. I'll give this another 2.5 star effort here. So yeah, that's all I got to say.
All right, Kyle O'Reilly beat Rich Holland 5 minutes and 18 seconds.
Yeah, this was too short for my liking. So 1.5 to 2 for the effort here. I mean, I thought this would have gone maybe a little longer, but it is what it is.
And the main event, Raquel Gonzalez versus Frankie Monet, NXT Women's Title. Raquel Gonzalez wins in 6 minutes and 57 seconds.
Yeah, no surprise with the outcome here. I'll give it about maybe 2.5 stars. But afterwards, Toxic Attraction basically did a 3-on-1 beatdown of Raquel Gonzalez, and Mandy Rose posing with the championship after the beatdown, and Florio, didn't a certain someone recently tell you that maybe Mandy Rose was going to be the next challenger?
You were correct. I will give you that.
Yep, I had a feeling that Mandy Rose was going to be the next challenger, and lo and behold, I was right on it. So, yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to add.
All right, next up we had overall review, Bullock.
Yeah, what did you guys give it?
You don't want to know.
Yeah.
You don't want to know.
I kind of had a feeling it's not a good show. So
I gave it a 5 out of 10. Anthony went lower. He went 4.
You know what? I'll meet you in the middle and say 4.5 to maybe 5. I mean, yeah, this was not a good show here. So yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. Let's get on to Dynamite.
Adam Cole versus Jungle Boy. Adam Cole wins the match in 13 minutes and 57 seconds.
This was a great match here. I mean, 3.5 stars. I mean, what else would you expect when you have these two in the same ring? Especially the talent of Jungle Boy and, of course, Adam Cole. So Jungle Boy proved he can hang around with someone like Adam Cole. So 3.5 stars, Fletch. Next match.
Lee Johnson and Cody Rhodes defeats Matt Sydal and Dante Martin in 7 minutes and 48 seconds.
Yeah, this was about a 2.5 star match, but the surprising thing that happened afterwards, Arn Anderson quit. I mean, he's done with Cody Rhodes after all this. So yeah, that was a little surprising. So let's move on.
Next up, we had 6-man tag team fight. Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston, Darby Allin. They went up against Bear Country and Anthony Green. Mox, Kingston, and Darby wins in 301.
Yeah, this was too short of a match here. I'll give it 1 star for the effort.
All right, now we come to the tribute matches, automatic NAs on both. No ratings, Michael Bullock, but if you want to give a quick thought about it, you can. The Dark Order and Orange Cassidy defeating the Hardy Family Office in 8 minutes and 38 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you said, because it's a tribute to the late great Brody Lee. I mean, obviously, I mean, this was no surprise that we're going to put the Dark Order over because we all know that if it wasn't for Mr. Brody Lee, the Order wouldn't be where it is today. So, yeah, I mean, it was such an emotional moment. It was an emotional night for that group, and I mean, especially later on when they brought in -1 and basically his wife. So, and I'm sure there wasn't a dry eye out there. I mean, yeah. So, I mean, we all miss him, and we all wish he was still here. So, there's really nothing more I gotta say, Fletch.
Next up, we did have was another. Well, I considered it a tribute match. Anthony, not so much, but we both did agree to give it the NA again. Ty Conte and Anna Jay went up against the Bunny and Penelope Ford. Conte and Jay wins in 6 minutes and 11 seconds.
Yeah. I'm with you, and I say this is an NA as well. And as far as I'm concerned, this is also like a tribute since Anna Jay and Ty Conte are part of the group as well. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say on it. I pretty much said everything when it came to that other match.
All right, and now we lead on to the main event of the evening, as it was Sammy Guevara. What the heck? Sammy Guevara versus Miro for the TNT Championship. The winner of the bout, 13 minutes and 29 seconds, and new TNT champion, the Spanish God, Sammy Guevara, wins the title here tonight. Michael Bullock, history was made as we have a new champion.
Yes, indeed, history was made, and the reign of Miro is over. Obviously, I'm going to give this 3.5 to maybe 3 3/4. I mean, this was a very good match here, and Fletch, Sammy Guevara dedicated this match to his friend Fuego del Sol, especially after what Miro had done to him lately. And yeah, I mean, Sammy Guevara was thinking of him. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. History was made here tonight. Fletch, it's yours.
I cannot believe Sammy Guevara is the champion. I cannot believe it happened tonight of all places. I mean, this is ridiculous, man. I cannot believe this just happened. I think we all were thinking, oh, maybe at the next pay-per-view, maybe at Full Gear they'll do this. No, they pulled the trigger tonight of all places to do it here on Dynamite. Oh my freaking God. I cannot believe that just happened. This is an upset. This was not in the cards. Did anybody think that we were going to have a new champion here tonight? If anybody says yes in this room, you're a goddamn liar. So no way in hell this was going to happen. So I'm stunned. I'm floored. Yeah, 3.5 to 3 3/4. I cannot believe Sammy Guevara is now the TNT champion. The Spanish God just took out God's favorite champion. Oh my goodness. What a major shift in the TNT division. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
Didn't you guys hear me say on one of our shows some time ago that I believed that Sammy Guevara would be the perfect choice to dethrone Miro?
Well, he did it. But did you think it was going to be this soon?
Well, I don't know. I really don't. But I did know that Sammy Guevara was going to be the guy to dethrone him whenever they decided to do the match, and they did it here tonight. And second best fight of the night, 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. Miro lived and died by removing the turnbuckle pads. It worked for him back at All Out in his match with Eddie Kingston, and he had every reason to believe the results would be similar. What he did not account for was Fuego del Sol, whom he bullied and beat down week after week, would contribute to his downfall. It did. Poetically, presenting the opening that Sammy Guevara took advantage of to score the win and the title. A great match, strong booking, and a satisfying finish helped put a bow on an episode that was uneven at times, but brought good feelings and raw emotion to the table. Switching the TNT Championship on a show dedicated to Brody Lee was the right call, even if it leaves questions about Miro's future moving forward. But nonetheless, 3.5, 3 3/4 of a star, second best fight of the night. Congratulations, Sammy Guevara. I knew he was going to do it. I didn't know it was going to be this soon. I thought maybe the pay-per-view stage, but no, we're still a little ways out from that show. But nonetheless, though, you couldn't ask for a better way to send the fans home happy. The tripod confetti going around the Blue Cross Arena in Rochester. Special moment, and without a doubt, as of right now, guys, I think we're all in agreement. This is without a doubt the biggest win to date, the biggest win of Sammy Guevara's single career. Who knows? Could it lead to an even bigger win down the road? Very possible, but we'll see. Not much more to say. Overall review time, MF. What a night.
7 out of 10 for me. This was a solid show. Not as good as Grand Slam. I will gladly admit that. It was a minor step back. However, it was still a great night. It was still a strong evening. With Sammy Guevara winning the title as the capper at the end. Yeah, this was a solid night. And for me, well done. So 7, I'll go 7.5. Anthony, it's yours.
7.5, absolutely. Jungle Boy and Adam Cole, they stole the show. They had the fight of the night. Very close second was the main event with the most satisfying finish and the classic send the fans home happy. There was no better way to do that than to strap Sammy Guevara with the TNT Championship. Congratulations, well deserved for that young man. He's on his way to bigger and better things. There's no question about it. Biggest win of his career. Years from now, maybe it could lead to an even bigger win. Who knows? We'll see. But for right now, this is the biggest, hands down. Some of the other matches, we had some solid matches. I mean, the Brody tribute matches were good. Were solid. The 16-man tag was a little better than the women's match, but the women's match was fine, though. The only real complaint I had was that 6-man tag that I felt was was unnecessary. I felt that match really belonged more on an AEW Dark or a Dark Elevation, honestly. It had no business being on this show, that 6-man tag. But other than that, the matches were solid to good to great. A couple of good promos here and there. Arn Anderson, that was awesome. That was the best. That was his best mic work in years. I can't remember the last time Double A cut a damn good promo like that. It's probably since his Horseman days. Have we seen anything like that? That was freaking awesome. And then from there, and even that segment with MJF and Darby Allin, I know we didn't address it, but that was a very good segment as well. And if it leads to a match with those two, sign me up that's a show. That's a show. That's a potential show stealer right there. So maybe we could see that at the pay-per-view. I don't know. I know we're still a ways away from it, but you never know. But what I do know, gentlemen, is Friday night on Rampage, we're gonna see Orange Cassidy versus Jack Evans in a hair versus hair match. Thunder Rosa, Nyla Rose, and Jade Cargill in a triple threat match. And Bryan Danielson is going to square off against Nick Jackson of the Young Bucks. Wow. And then next week, gentlemen, the 2-year anniversary of AEW Dynamite. 8-man tag action. Kenny Omega, Adam Cole, and the Young Bucks against Bryan Danielson, Christian Cage, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus. 8-man tag. Hikaru Shida goes for history. her 50th win if she gets it. But it's not going to be easy because she's going to be squaring off against former NWA Women's World Champion and another one of my personal all-time favorites, Serena Deeb. And then the Casino ladder match, where the winner gets a future AEW World Title match. I think a certain individual who we haven't seen in quite some time, who had to take some time off because of a very special event in his personal life. Wink, wink. I think you know who I'm leaning to, who I'm talking about, and if it's true, and if he's there, I believe that's the night he's coming back. I believe that's the night he's going to win it, and then we'll get his big crowning moment, maybe as early as Full Gear, if all goes well. Think about that for a minute. So 7.5, not much more to say. Michael Bullock, how do you follow all that?
Man, I mean, definitely next week's Dynamite definitely looks really good. Rampage, we'll see how that goes. But for this show, 7 to 7.5, I'm with you guys. I mean, it was a bit of a step down from what we saw with the Dynamite Grand Slam, but and of course Rampage Grand Slam, but this was still a good show, no doubt about it. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, let's just put a bow on this.
All right, we are done for the night, guys, and tomorrow night is a special edition of NFL Thursday, as we'll be covering week number 4 of the National Football League. Can you believe it? We're already in week 4. But you already know the headliner, the big one. Everybody and their mother has been talking about it. We're going to do a deep dive in this one. Patriots, Buccaneers from Gillette, Foxborough, Sunday Night Football. We will go wall to wall with this one. And
Tony and Mikey special, baby.
There's some other great matches along the way as well, but you got to wait till 10:30 tomorrow night to get all that. And then that's it. And then Friday will be Cerebral Smack Talk at 11 p.m. Eastern. As always, we're going to do, of course, we're going to have Rampage, but we're going to mainly be focusing on the WWE Draft night 1. SmackDown and Raw will start their first round, and then we're going to dive into round 2, round the second night, or round on Monday with Raw, and Anthony Foley will go with the wall-to-wall coverage on that. So we got some very interesting content coming up in this next couple of days, guys, so get ready. It's going to get crazy. For Anthony Floyo, for Michael Bullock, I'm Michael Fletcher. Have a good night, everybody. We will see you tomorrow night.